this workout, you will need a foam roller. So we are going to massage and lengthen all your muscles here. So whatever is achy, I promise is going to feel a lot better in just about 10 minutes. It's a quick workout. It's all we need to do. I like to start warming up the bigger muscle groups first though. So we're going to start in a plank position, and you're going to take the foam roller and start right above those kneecaps there, okay? We don't want to go over the bony parts of your knees, but we do want to go right in the front of your thighs. So pull your abdominals up and in just enough so your low back doesn't sag, and just move back and forth from here. Okay, so quads are called quads because you've got 4 of them, right? So you have 2 in the middle and 1 on the outside, 1 on the inside. I want you to turn both feet and knees to the same direction. And we're just going to loosen up your inner quad on one side, outer quad on the other side. And same thing, turn to the other side. So again, a lot of runners, a lot of women sometimes have tight outer quads. That might be why you're feeling this a lot. Most of us are tight in our quads, so this is worth it to spend a couple extra minutes on. Okay, now I hate to do this to you right away, but we're going to do your IT bands. This one tends to be sore in a lot of people. If you have never done it before, bend your top knee and go back and forth. We don't want to go over the bursa part of our hip here, or the bony part of your hip. I want to go a little lower down by your knee. Just go back and forth. If you can tolerate it, put both feet here. Now, if you've been doing this a while, I want you to rotate forward and find right where your quads meet your IT bands there. It's usually a really tight spot. Go back and forth. This will loosen it up, I promise. More effective than stretching even. This will loosen it up. Okay, so now let's do the same thing on the other side. Just turn right around. And back and forth in whatever position you did on the other side. So bend the knee or feet on top and rotate forward if you can do it. Good, we don't have to torture that, but that's all done. So now you're going to take the foam roller, we're going to do the whole back side of your leg. So start sitting right on top of it, put one hand behind you, you're going to lean onto one cheek. You're just going to roll back and forth onto this cheek. You're going to notice if you turn your hips to the side more, you feel it more close to your hip bone. And if you turn both knees up to the ceiling more, you'll feel it a little bit closer to your sacrum, that lowest bone in the back of your spine there. So try to do both, just notice how it feels a little different in both places. And now switch to the other side. The other thing I want you to be paying attention to here is if you have one side that's a lot tighter than the other side, that can sometimes contribute to back pain. So if you do have that, I want you to spend a little bit more time rolling out your tighter side, and that will just loosen it up a little bit more, hopefully put you a little bit in better balance. Now, both hands behind you. You're going to do an imprint, and you're going to go right up and down this lowest part of your back here, right over your SI joint. If your SI joint is sore, you might feel this a lot. If your glutes are tight, you may feel this a lot. And you may not. It's kind of a bony area, so if you don't feel it too much, it's okay. All right, next one, right down to your hamstrings in the back of your thighs. You're going to lean back, and we're going to roll back and forth from here. Now, I want you to lean forward so you get some pressure, counterbalancing on those hamstrings there. But if you feel like your arm's too short, this is too frustrating, just stay in one spot and just sort of slump over it. It's the first time we'll say slump in Pilates, but just lean onto them and then move back an inch and lean there. So it's just like the massage therapist kind of pushing their thumbs into one spot and saying breathe. That's all we're doing. We're still lengthening the muscle just by pressing into just a couple different points. Now take the lower part of your hamstrings, lean forward there. Good. All right, so hips down. We're going to do your calves. There's lots of different ways to do calves, so we're going to start with the most advanced and just keep going down. So cross one foot over the other if you can do it. Both hands here. You're going to stick your hips up, pull your abs in, and pull back from there to roll out those calves. Now point both feet in one direction so you get the outside part of your calves. Both feet on the other direction to get the inside part of your calves. Keep going with this one if you're okay with it. If your wrists don't love that, you're going to lean forward, bend and straighten your legs from here. So just up and down from here, remembering to turn your feet in one direction and then the other direction. You can just sort of drag your hips back and forth. You don't have to make it such an arm exercise, such an ab exercise. You can just kind of drag. Or if it's just you've got tight calves, you can uncross them. It's a little less pressure in your calf. So whatever version you're doing, if you're crossing your foot, cross to the other side now. So remember, hips up, pull your abs in to go back. It's your abs, your arms a little bit. Remember to point both feet in one direction, both feet in the other direction. Or remember, you can always bend and straighten from here without your hands. Good. Okay, so now we're going to take the foam roller and put it parallel to you. So you're going to lie on your side, and you're going to get your knee up and over it. So let your foot go to the right to the other side of the foam roller. Start on your side. Make sure your knee is about hip height at least, and you're going to roll out to kind of that plank position again, and then come back. Roll out. Okay, so yes, you may not have that tight inner thigh muscles and that you may not feel much here, but before you decide that, make sure you hike your knee up a little bit higher. See if you feel it now. And if you still don't feel it, I want you to move the foam roller closer to your hip as opposed to closer to your knee. So you just have more adductor muscles high up there, so you'll just feel it a lot more there if you're tight. Good. Okay, so now we're going to stay on the same side. We're just going to move the foam roller right underneath your armpit there again. So we're going to go back and forth here. This is going to get your lat muscle. It's kind of a superficial place for us to get your lats here. Your lat muscles can get tight when your low back gets cranky, and they get really tight when your shoulders get cranky. So it's a very good muscle to stretch. They sometimes feel a little IT band-esque, meaning they feel really intense. So if you just want to lie over it, you'll still get the benefits of the massage without having to kind of beat on that muscle so much. If ever you feel like you're holding your breath on these, you need to either use a softer foam roller or roll less and just hang more. So let's go to the same 2 exercises on the other side. Hike your knee up, let your foot rest over, and we're going to roll back and forth from here. So same thing, back and forth. Pay attention if you feel tight or not. If you don't, never just say, oh, I'm so great there. Just try to find it first. Try to find that spot first. So hike your knee up higher, and then go back and forth there. Good. All right, now we're going to stay on the same side and put it right underneath your armpit there and just go back and forth from here. Just loosening up those lat muscles. Again, good for your shoulders, good for your low back. Good. Okay, now come on up from there. This is the nice one. This is your reward. You're going to lie on your back, point both elbows up to the ceiling. You're going to go back until it hits your head, and then right below your shoulder blades, and then back until it hits your head again. So it's going up your neck, your upper back. You might feel some crunches here, and that's just your spine moving, okay? It's supposed to be a little flexible. You're not supposed to have a really stiff spine. It's supposed to move. So point both elbows in one direction, go up one side of your neck and back, and then same thing in the other direction. Now, imprint your spine, keep your low back down, and pull those elbows back really wide. Get the pec stretch here. Now, keep scooting down until this becomes a pillow for your head. You're going to flip your palms up. You're going to squeeze your glutes, get your hips up, but also your rib cage up. Now, let your head flop to the right and flop to the left. It's just loosening up those neck muscles. Good. Okay, so now sit all the way up. You're going to turn the foam roller the long way, and we're going to do a few more rolling exercises. You're going to sit right on the edge of it, on one cheek only, and we're just going to go right and left here. So you've heard of your piriformis muscle, one of those little glute muscles that goes across. You have about 6 of those, and they can sometimes cause trouble, especially when one side's tight and the other side isn't. So just right and left, we'll just loosen those up. And same thing on the other side. So just on one cheek on the roller, back and forth. Good. Okay, so now hips forward. In my roll-in stretch class, I always tell people if it's the first time you've done this one, just give yourself a little bit of patience with it. So clasp your hands up to the ceiling, or especially if you have long hair, you can hold your head like this, but you're going to lift your hips up and roll right and left from there. And the higher you lift your hips up, you can do that higher by bringing your feet back more and coming on your toes. The higher up into your upper back, you're going to feel this. Just sort of loosens up those muscles in between your shoulder blade and your spine. Now to get your low back, you're going to imprint, curl your head up, and go right and left from here. Good. Okay, so now that's all the rolling we're going to do for today. You're just going to let your arms go out to the side. This is a really good pec stretch. Everyone, all of us are tight in our pecs, so just hanging out here, letting your hands go back. I know you probably aren't on a raised mat at home, obviously, so just being on the foam roller lifts your chest up a little bit, and you're still get that feeling of your arms melting out to the side. Do a few snow angel arms, like you're a little kid in the snow making snow angels. It just, you feel this, the pec stretch move up and down the front of your shoulders, and when you go up here, you get your lats stretching a little bit too. Now, bend your elbows back to that 90-degree angle, and let's just get the rotator cuff stretch and your pec stretch. Just Take one more deep breath here because it's such a good stretch and it's so needed. Tuck your chin like you're giving yourself a double chin as you do this. It'll stretch out your neck muscles as well. Good. Okay, so the last series we're going to do here is a hip stretch series. So it's all the exercises we normally do on the barrel if you take classes here. So what we're going to do is you're just going to put your hips right on top of the foam roller. It works just as well. So you're going to hug one knee to your chest. You're going to reach this other leg out as far out in front of you as much as you can. Now the whole time you're not letting your back arch, right? You're imprinting as much as you can. I know there's no mat right behind your back, but try to press your back down. You're trying to reach this bottom heel as far forward as you can, and then switch legs. Reach the other heel as far forward as you can, just really opening up these hip flexor muscles. If you tend to have a sway back, this muscle is probably really tight and it's really going to be helpful for you. Tight knees, especially knee pain, this muscle, stretching out this muscle will really help that. Now, switch legs, top leg up to the ceiling, flex your foot, bottom heel down. So spread out your toes at the top there, flex your feet, get a really big stretch to your calves, your hamstrings. There we go, and then switch again, flex your foot, reach that bottom leg forward so you get the hip flexor stretch on one side, calf and hamstring stretch on the other side. Now both legs straight up to the ceiling, put both legs out to the side, turn your toes down, just get a big inner thigh stretch here. So just like gravity take over, having your hips up here is really going to let those legs go down and off to the side. I promise they're moving down even if you don't feel them. Push your knees a little straighter and you'll feel the stretch more. Bring your legs back in. Now cross one foot over the other knee. Pull your knees in close here. We're looking for that outer glute stretch, outer hamstring stretch. So rock your knees right and left a little bit. Good. Cross the other foot over, pull your knees in, rock your knees right and left there. Good. Now both legs straight up to the ceiling. If you keep your hands on the foam roller, it should stay. You're going to do a rollover, so bring your feet up and over your head. Ready? Push a little bit with your hands up and over, flex your feet, round your back down, one vertebra at a time. Feet back together, and same thing. Up and over your head, flex your feet, come back down, one vertebra at a time, one more time. Flex your feet. Good. Okay, so come back up from there. You're going to push the roller out of your way. Now, last two stretches we're going to do are just for your arms. It's a really nice stretch. You're going to take the foam roller, put it kind of at an angle, a 45-degree angle out in front of you. You're going to put your hand right on top, and now you're going to turn away from it and just hang out in that pec stretch there. Good, and same thing on the other side. Turn away from it again, hang out in that pec stretch. Again, tight biceps, tight pecs, we all have them. Good, and then come on back up. Last one is for your lats. You end up feeling it kind of in your armpits, but trust me, your lats take up the whole middle section of your back. So both hands on top, dangle your head down and just take one last deep breath in and out there. Good, okay, stand up, move around. I guarantee you're going to be feeling a lot better after that.